Well, hey, after a long time, welcome back. This is the Mamba Mortgage podcast, but really a revamp of and a
Yeah, we're getting the band back
the
together.
band back together
Yeah.
of Real Noblesville with Jeff and
Real
Jared.
Noblesville, which
So
is still live, by the way.
it is live,
Yeah.
and people still actively
Yeah, we still
are
post
on there.
every
It's
once.
pretty cool.
Post there every once in a while. Just post some
Yeah.
listings and
Yep.
information for Noblesville.
So I'm one half of Jeff and Jared. I'm Jared Shore with Mamba, and this is Jeff Landers with England Volkers.
Yeah.
And yeah, we're excited to be back. It's been a couple years.
Thanks for having me back on,
Yeah.
man.
Well,
I feel privileged.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, well, I was just talking to somebody today at one of the very last videos we ever did. We were joking. We had masks on, and then we
Oh
ripped
my
them off, and
gosh.
we said, "This is stupid. We're not wearing masks. This
Yeah.
isn't going to last." And then a week later, they shut the world down on us. So,
Yeah.
it's probably been more than a couple years that we've gotten together and done
No,
something like this.
I think so. It's hard to get together and carve out the time to do these video podcasts. And I know we're both busy doing stuff, but
Well, podcasting is almost a full-time job.
I
If
know.
it's a lot of, it's a lot of work, a lot of effort, but it's fun. It's good to get
I'm a
together
better
and
real
talk.
estate agent than I am a podcaster.
Yeah.
At least I hope so.
I would hope so too, since you're not a professional podcaster.
I am not a professional podcaster. But I guess I'll talk about stuff that you want to talk about.
Yeah. And I think that's the goal of what we wanted to have, this space in our office for is really just, hey, let's talk and share what's going on, because there's a lot of information out there.
There is.
And there's a lot of people out there, and there's only one or two of us. And so how can we make sure that, our center of influence and our sphere are getting the right information? And so this is a great tool to be able to, spread information that's hopefully correct.
Yeah, well, I think all information should be custom.
Yeah.
I mean, there are broader principles at play, and we can talk about that. Broader trends.
Yep.
And information, really, it depends on what you use on what you're doing with it. People ask me all the time, like, well, how's the market? And I'm like, well, it depends on who you are.
Yeah.
Are you a buyer? Are you a seller? What position are you in? What do you want to do? What are your goals?
Yep.
And the market can be good or great or bad, depending on what you're trying to do. Yep. So the market is very, weird right now. It's very segmented, I think stratified is the technical term, because there's different things happening at different parts of the market.
Well, we, even just, as of today, what is today? The 12th, December 12th that we're talking here. And, a couple of days ago, the Feds, lowered the interest rates. And so a lot of it, we've seen Feds raise and lower rates, and, some of that information is like, well, what does that do to mortgage interest rates?
Yeah.
And what is that, what is the actual Fed rate? So there's been a lot of, just information out there that is complicated. And, I think being able to break that down sometimes is hard. So
yeah. So I heard interest rates actually went down a little bit.
It went down a little bit.
Little bit.
A little bit is relative.
You know what I get asked all the time is like, when are we going to see 3% rates?
Yeah.
When is that, Jared?
Let me shake my ball here.
Yeah, I'm going to say probably never.
Yeah, not at this time.
And if we do, I think things are going to get real bad. But I'm not, I think one thing is I'm not a economist. And even the professional economists are out there, like they disagree on what's happening. And I think just in general, again, going back to the information that's out there, what you read on the internet, whether it's national news, there's going to be a recession, there's going to be a correction, there's going to be a reset. And I think the bigger picture is like, nobody knows.
No.
Nobody knows.
No, even they've been telling us for the last 3 years that by the end of 2025, rates were supposed to be in the 5.5s.
Yeah.
And we're not there.
Yeah.
So even the professionals that look at this every single day and predict where rates are going to be, and forecast rates, they're not right now.
They're not.
It's hard.
Yeah, I think it's key to know how to navigate the situation that you're currently in right now, and how to make those decisions, and not, wasn't it Warren Buffett? It said that something about it's not how long you've been in the market, or no, it's not timing the market. It's how long you've been in the market.
Yep.
And it's taking the long view. And in general, you're asking, should I buy real estate? Yeah. I mean, and that answer has been yes since 1930s.
Yeah.
I saw a sign, and I'm really into Indianapolis history, which we can actually talk about in a future podcast if you're interested.
I love it.
And
Anyways,
it was
history in architecture. This building itself has a little bit of history too. So.
we can talk. I want to talk about that. I'd love to. Well, anyways, it was just a sign on a street, 1930s, Indianapolis, maybe 1918 or something like that. And it said, buy real estate. Just a sign out there. It's like, and yeah, it had the people heeded that advice. I mean, and you sat on real estate for that long. I mean, oh yeah, you'd be you'd be a millionaire.
You could probably say that about a lot of things: Bitcoin, real estate, stock
market. Yeah, no, you can say that about
everything.
anything. So it's just how long. So it's always good to buy it if you can, and getting the deals that you can do that.
I actually just texted my grandpa earlier. We joke around about the silver price of silver right now.
Oh yeah, I've heard a little bit about that.
It's over $60 right now.
Yeah,
and my grandpa was talking about how he bought a bunch of silver when it was like $5.
Yeah.
And just and he's kept it, and it's just a fun kind of hobby, I guess, if you will. But just to see everything has gone up, everything, house values, most everything, I guess. But you're right. It's how long do you stay in it is where your moneymaker is.
Now, house values have actually only gone down twice, I think, in the last 50 or 60 years, and that was the Great Recession. Gone down more than 10%. I'll say that. And that was the Great Recession, and then one other time, I think in the 60s or something like that. But
it's always gone up.
Very few, and then it bounced back up. Very very quickly, relatively.
Well, we were talking off camera a little bit about just where the market's at in terms of buyers being able to acquire new properties, right? And where the market's at right now. I think you mentioned something just now a little bit ago about how it has to be customized, right?
Information needs to be customized. Yeah, and information.
Yep. So talk to me about where you're seeing buyers, where you're seeing sellers, and how that customization and your job as a realtor kind of figuring out what a buyer wants and matching that to the right house, and then matching that with the right offer.
Yeah. I guess, first of all, it's important to narrow down your goals on what you're doing. We're just talking about buyers right now.
Yeah, buyers, yeah.
So you're buying real estate. So what is your goal? And I think you can narrow that down into three kind of categories. I'm buying a house for the perfect house. I'm buying a house for the perfect location. I want to be somewhere. I'm buying the house because I want a deal. And, I want to get a great deal. And of course, if you ask everybody wants all three of those things. They want the perfect house, the perfect location, and they want the perfect price.
Yep.
And the reality is that you can only pick two of those three things to focus on. Because if you try to get all three, you're not going to get anything you want, because nothing is ever going to match that criteria. And so if you're looking for the great house, okay, let's look for the great house. We can get your number of bedrooms, and we can get the floor plan you want. Oh, I want hardwood floors, or I want stainless steel appliances, or I want whatever, we'll get that for you.
Yeah.
Or you're looking at a specific location. Okay. So you can pinpoint, I want to be in Broad Ripple.
Yeah.
I want to be in Meridian and Kessler. I want to be in Carmel. I want the great schools. Okay. And
what's the most common reason people want to be in a location that you see right now? Is it schools, or is it environment?
Good question. I think first and foremost, it's going to be schools. If you look at everybody's, what they're moving for, it's location for schools. I think Hamilton County has proven that just traditionally. Proximity, I think proximity to, I would say, kind of walkable spaces is a priority right now as far as location. So I think people, what downtown Carmel has created, what downtown Noblesville is creating, downtown Westfield Zionsville. I mean, all those little downtown spaces. I think people, they're making those very livable, shoppable, dineable, walkable experiences, and they're designing housing around that, and then that overflows into single family houses around that.
So, are you seeing any pushback? And I'll let you kind of continue down the three steps there. But with location, you mentioned kind of the Carmel, and I'll just use Carmel and Noblesville as an example, because Carmel's kind of got an established downtown, area. There's still some new stuff popping up. Noblesville is very much like in the growing stage of their downtown. They haven't established downtown, but there's obviously a lot of moving parts, and there's going to continue to be some moving parts there. Are people moving and saying, hey, this is a cool area that is up and coming, and they like that? Or do they like the more established, where they don't have to worry about construction and
well, number one, I think it's about what you can afford. Downtown Noblesville is going to be way different than downtown Carmel. Yeah. So that the price kind of dictates what you're going to do. Is, all things being equal, I can afford anything. You're probably going, downtown Carmel is more established. I think downtown Noblesville has a lot of room to grow, appreciation. Those things are in the back of my mind for downtown Noblesville. They say that when everything is said and done, Noblesville is going to be the biggest city of all of them, because it has at least geographically, and it has a space to grow. Yep. Carmel is going to have to get more dense, and you're going to have people in Carmel are going to have to like that, because unless they're annexing or invading other cities, they got to go up. They can't go out. Noblesville can still go out. Westfield is kind of the same boat as Noblesville. I mean, as far as future prediction, I mean, Carmel's always going to be there. It's established. It's not a race. It's not a competition. Yeah. I think I'm partial to Noblesville because I live in Noblesville. But we're all going to the same places, aren't we? Like, I'm hanging out in Carmel, I don't feel like I'm in a different country or anything like that. Yep. And so I like Noblesville's downtown, like the oldness of it. Carmel, I think, to me, from an outsider's perspective, like they kind of made up their own downtown. It's supposed to look older. Yeah. I mean, I like the fact that Noblesville has been there, and the old buildings, and I think that's cool. And the natural waterway that's right there that I think is underutilized. And I know that there's future plans for Indianapolis and general central Indiana to clean up more that waterway to get more use out of it, than there is right now. I think it's White River, Improved White River. I'm sure you can Google it, and there's a plan out there to do that.
I've seen some of the initial plans. It's pretty neat.
Yeah, it's very neat. Yeah. And for a town like Noblesville, I think it's a good opportunity to leverage that. And I know, people who are in doing it, Christensen and those people. I mean, they're exploring everything. They want good things for Noblesville.
Yeah, I'm excited.
It's competitive,
And you're right. There's so much room for growth in Noblesville specifically. Like where I live is kind of north Noblesville, and my wife and we were driving to a Noblesville Boom game, which is some a new thing for Noblesville, which is really neat. That. Yeah, it's super fun. And where we go to the route we go, we can actually still take like the back country roads, and we go through and we're like, there's no houses, other than the ones that are there, and there's just what's going to happen eventually is there's going to be houses and commercial and moving out that way, and there's just so much room for growth.
I do want that. I want the growth. Yeah. I do hope, and I think Zionsville has actually done a great job of managing their infrastructure, their layout. They've been very careful in keeping their kind of rural roots out there. And I hope Noblesville does the same, that it's just not complete expansion, that we leverage the wide open spaces that we have. I mean, I don't know. I think I might be maybe the only one here, but I think there's a little bit beauty to a field of corn. Oh, yeah. It might be weird, the only one on that. No, but I love it. I think, that's kind of where you're at. That's, again, I hope it preserves that rural aspect a little bit of it. It's not just like new housing, and that we're careful with that, and we leverage our natural resources.
It may take a while, and we may not be around when it gets
It
there.
will, but I've seen a lot in the last 20 years. I remember my first house I bought, CP Morgan home, Brooks Crossing. Is that the name of it?
Ooh, maybe
Brooks Chase. Anyways, it's in CP Morgan neighborhood. It's over by Saxony, and they were talking about the new Hamilton Town Center.
Oh yeah,
that's going to be there, and
yep,
it's going to be awesome. And you're going to be right there. And they sold it, tree-lined streets. And I would say that what was advertised, it took a long time for that to happen. And I was long gone by the time that eventually happened. But now you go through that neighborhood, and it's like, oh wow, they are right there.
Yeah,
it was 20 years later, but 20 years is a long time.
Yeah, where my wife and I lived when we first got married was in an apartment complex, actually at Noblesville, Carmel area, right, 146 in kind of Cherry Tree area, and they sold us on the fact that, hey, there's going to be here in the next year or two, there's going to be restaurants and and all these shops right in front. They're going to build it right in front on 146. Almost 20 years later, it's there. They finally
I know it's there. It's fine. Yeah.
So the plans were there.
It takes time.
Yep. Well, I got you on a tangent there. So
no, it's okay. Yeah, we talked about location, and then I don't know, and then price, and then that was the original flow there of thought. Getting back to it, and so it's going for the house, going for the location, or then you're going for the price. You're going for the deal, and you just can't get all three of those. You got to pick two of those.
Yep.
Is really what you get. You can get the best house at the best price, but it's not going to be the location that you want. Or you're going to get the best price and the best location, but you got to sacrifice on the house, and you got to you're not going to get the granite countertops or whatever you're looking for in a house, the style. You're going to have to make that yourself. And there's a lot of people don't have the vision for that. And that's probably another whole other podcast because that's special. And you're one, again, a whole other podcast is like when you're buying a home, you're not just buying a home, you're buying someone's lifestyle. Mm-hmm. And people don't realize that. But that's also what you're selling. That's a whole seller's podcast. It's like if you're selling something, you are selling your lifestyle. And so if you've got a house that is like decked out with a certain kind of whatever it is that people want, people are going to buy it. Mm-hmm. But if you got like laundry on the floor and you've got 1990s cabinetry and a lot of disrepair in your home or unfinished projects, like you're just passing off your problems to someone else.
Yep.
Well, that's going to lower the value.
Yeah.
And so people are buying a lifestyle there.
It's so true. I remember when we sold our house, one of the things, and we probably shouldn't have done this because it was maybe not. It was more fun for me, but emotionally, it was hard to listen to. Where we had cameras in our house, right, and people would talk, and we'd go back and listen to what people were saying about our house as they were walking through. And man, people were brutal. That picture they have on the wall is terrible. Like, why would they ever pick that?
That's tough. Every time I'm walking through a house, I always caution my buyers, like, just so you know, the new modern world, there's videos everywhere. Yep. And just assume you're being videotaped. Mm-hmm. And I can hear them. I'm even myself. I'm like, ooh, looking at a house or wow, or because you don't want to there was one house or one listing I had and the seller had the feedback before I even, saw it, from the realtor because they could, they could just listen in on it was a baby monitor that they had and they can just, because they had them all throughout the house and they heard the buyers be like, ooh, I love that. And so he'd call me up like, hey, Jeff, I think we're going to get an offer tonight.
Sweet.
I'm like, great. That's awesome. I thought that was kind of funny, but you're being videoed. And
how do you manage on the buyer side? Because you've got these, this kind of triangle, right? Of these three things you have to, you got to pick two of the three. You can't have the third. And if you do, it's a unicorn house, right?
Yeah.
How do you manage emotions through that with buyers where they fall in love with a house, but it doesn't hit the big 2 points that they want. And how do you manage, I fell in love with this house, I want it. This is I can see myself, my family in this house, and crap, we don't get it.
Yeah, no, that's it's tough. So as long as hopefully I've done my job the time before, and kind of set those expectations. So if I can set those expectations about, okay, what are we going for here? We're going for the house. We're going for the price. Okay, we know what we're doing. So that if they don't get the house, then we can look back and say, okay, well, we didn't, why didn't we get the house? Well, we didn't get the house because, we bid 20,000 under what they were asking. And whenever I work with a buyer, whenever they're serious about a house, I don't use those, I actually work at my own CMA, looking at my own comps, and it's not a Zillow number. It's not an automated generated number.
And for the listeners out there, a CMA is...
Oh, sorry. Thank you. Yeah. A comparative market analysis.
Yeah.
So I take real comps. I look at the pictures. I adjust for square footage. I adjust for bathrooms, bedrooms, garage, and just overall appeal that I think one house is going to have over another, because not every house is not created the same. And so you adjust for that, and you try to come up with a range. And, sometimes that range is going to be above what the seller is asking. Sometimes it's going to be below. But at least I set those expectations. And so I had that conversation with a buyer. That way they know that when they're making their offer, okay, this is where, this is where we're at. This is and so if we're going for a price and we lose out on price, then we can accept that.
Yeah.
Right. So
it's really just giving the buyers the best chance to get the offer accepted.
Well, yeah,
within their criteria.
Yeah, within their criteria. Yeah. And so you can, and I think a lot of it's psychology. A lot of it is, hey, you can negotiate when you're the only game in town. Yep. I mean, that's as far as negotiation's concerned. If you're the only game in town, then you can negotiate, you can haggle. Sometimes there's no time to haggle. You asked me earlier about, back in a couple of years ago, when a house has 20 offers on it, I mean, there's never, I think buyers felt so helpless, and I always felt so awful. Terrible for buyers. They got nothing. They were, only thing you could sell them. And it worked out for them, by the way. If you bought a couple of years ago, even still, like, your home is appreciated. And, again, because I worked out those CMAs for people, comparative market analysis, beforehand, my buyers knew exactly what they were doing as far as where they were priced, how far they're priced. There was actually a situation where I thought the seller underpriced their home, and that they and we bid over X amount of dollars over the appraised amount, or excuse me, over the over the listing amount. And I said, I don't think we're going to, I think this house is going to appraise at the amount that we bid it over. And I never say never, quote me, but it worked out like that way. So it appraised. And I'm like, hey, it's great. I feel good for them. They knew what they were doing. And and so they've made money. And I think in the meantime, just on appreciation, it's still good.
We've seen a pretty big switch from, those times where the buyers were going in, they basically had to have a checkbook ready to put an offer in, like on the spot, and probably also pay above and beyond, and seller credits just weren't a thing almost, right? Where are we at now in the market where, like, are we seeing seller credits? Are we seeing like competition? Is there a lot of competition on houses, or like, where are we at?
Again, it depends on who you are. Depends on what you're looking at, depends on location, depends on the house, depends on the price. In general, there are more houses on the market. I remember looking, because I keep up with the Real Noblesville page a little bit, and I would post these stats and just the number of listings. And earlier on, just this year, there was like oh man, I don't know, 80 homes in total in the 46 and the 60 and the 62 zip codes total, or Noblesville in total. But anyways, that was like 80, 90, whatever. And then it grew to 120. And I think last time I checked was like 180.
Oh
I
wow.
mean, that number has gone. The number has gone up. I have not checked this morning. But that's anyways. So that number has gone up. Just the number
It's interesting.
of listings has gone
That's
up.
just this year. It's gone up.
That's just this year.
Yeah.
It's just, and that's because more homes are going. I've kind of thought about this. This is just my 2 cents. More homes are staying on the market longer. They're not selling because people want 10% more than their neighbor got for a house that is 10% less.
Yeah.
And so again, buyers aren't going to buy that. Then the other thing is that I think more people maybe, and you can maybe speak to this, they're just getting comfortable now with the interest rates that are out there.
Yeah.
And I've never met a person who's going to say, "Oh, hey, you know what? Interest rates just hit 5%. Time to pack up the family and move out." Like they're not waiting for that, but they just want the psychological reassurance or the permission maybe to like justify, okay, I'm ready to do this. And as interest rates are what they are, they jump from 3% to 5 to 6 to 7% so quickly. Did they hit 7?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. Did they hit 8?
Not for primary.
Not for primary. Yeah. So, but anyways, as people got comfortable with that, I think people are like, okay, yeah, we're going to list the home now.
Yeah.
So I think just generally more people went to the market.
Yeah, I think there's definitely the rates are more normal now, and people, especially some of the first time home buyers, the younger generation, they don't know what a 3%, 4% interest rate is because they weren't even looking at houses at that point. So we're kind of past that. There's another interesting stat I think that it's called a buy rent gap, and basically it gives the difference between is it more affordable to rent or buy? And almost in the entire history of the U.S., it's always been more affordable to buy than rent. In fact, in 2020 or 2021, I can't remember which year it was, that it was 27% in Indianapolis. It was 27% more profitable, if you will, to buy. Your payment was 27% better. It is completely flip-flopped. Now it's 25% better to rent right now. And so I think some people are looking at that and saying, okay, well, why would I buy right now when it's cheaper for me to rent and I don't have to also have all the housing expenses that come with owning a house too? So I think there's a little bit of that going on where people are they're savvy with their money in some senses.
They should be, yeah.
And if they look at the bigger picture, I mean, there's some intangible things about buying a home that you can't, put a dollar amount to, but I think there's a little bit of that going on where it's cheaper to rent.
Was that was that a national number?
That was just Indianapolis.
Okay.
And we were one of the smaller numbers. If you go to the coast, it gets closer to like 100% better to rent than it is to buy right now. Yeah. But it has completely flip-flopped nationally too.
Yeah. I have heard that. And that is interesting. I think in some situations there's still some pros to owning more. You're building wealth just naturally over time just by owning something. You're freezing that payment.
Yep.
And then rents are going to catch up eventually.
Oh, it will.
Because landlords are going to want to make more money. Yep. So I'm surprised looking. I'd like to look at that. Just to see what that would be about.
Yep. You mentioned building wealth, and there's some crazy new products coming out right now that are about building wealth.
Yeah.
One of them, I've never heard of this. Some people may have heard this strategy, but it's called velocity banking. And there's some new loans out there that follow along this path. And basically, what you do is instead of taking a fixed rate mortgage, you take a first lien position HELOC on your house. Okay. Right. And interest rates are going to be higher, but it's daily, it's calculated off of daily interest. And so what you do is essentially you have your paycheck get deposited into your HELOC.
Into your HELOC, yeah.
And so now your balance goes down for that day. Your interest is calculated on a lower balance for that day.
Oh, okay. I have heard about the strategy. I wasn't sure about how that works. So, but that's what it is. So it reduces it for a day.
For a day. And then you use the HELOC as a checking account to pay all your other stuff. And so, the next day it goes up just a little bit and a little bit. And then your next paycheck, it goes down, and you end up paying off comparatively to a 30-year mortgage just by doing that in like 5 to 6 years.
Yeah.
Hundreds of thousands of dollars of interest saved just by doing it that way. So some weird strategies like that if you're savvy with money and you're worried about.
One thing is you have to be disciplined.
You have to be disciplined, and you have to operate in a net positive every month. Like if you're going above
For sure,
and beyond.
yeah, you can't spend that away.
But what's neat about that strategy is you stay liquid. And so if you have equity that you can use, right? So if you want to go buy a car, instead of going and taking a car loan, you've built equity. You can just buy the car with the equity in your house, and you don't have to refinance to do that. And you're just going to pay it off very fast again.
I'm setting you up here. Do you do HELOCs?
We do. We do. We do all these.
That's awesome. Okay.
Yeah.
And not everyone does.
No, we do HELOCs, and we do have this specific velocity banking.
So can you do a HELOC like not at the time of purchase, but
you can do it
like separate? Okay.
Yep.
I mean, I'm always recommend people do
HELOCs
take out a HELOC because it sometimes, I mean, there's a very small fee to it. And you have access to the equity of your home to do anything that you want. And again, the secret of debt is, rich people are in debt.
Yep.
I mean, I don't know. That sounds weird, but they leverage debt very, very well. But you can, poor people are in debt too.
Yeah, there's a really great book. If you haven't read, a lot of investors have read this book. It's what gets a lot of real estate investors into real estate investing is Rich Dad Poor Dad.
Yeah.
And talks about the difference between going and using debt, if you will, to buy assets that are going to make you money, as opposed to consumer debt, which is you're getting into debt just to buy things.
Buy houses, don't buy cars, don't buy TVs.
Yep. So what else you got?
Oh man, I don't know.
How's 2025 been for you?
Oh man, it was a slow start, but it was I had a really good second half of my year. So it was just personally, and it's been fun. It's never fun being slow in real estate. I mean, realtors want to help people buy and sell. Yeah. Most realtors I encounter, like they're good people, well intentioned. They want to represent their clients. Yep. Most of them. Some of them are better than others at that. I think I'm one of the better ones, but
you are one of the better ones.
I appreciate that vote of confidence, Jared. They want to be in that business. They don't want to be in the business of, I'm not one of those realtors who I'm not going to door knock you and give you a cooking recipe.
Yeah.
Like I want to give you real value. Talk about your largest and biggest financial asset, which is your home or what homes you could be buying. I want to talk about that. That's why I'm always, hit me up and I'll talk about it.
Do you work mainly with like home buyers that are going to be living in their properties, or do you work with investors that are looking to buy, wealth building properties?
No, I think mostly buyers, owner occupants, and my clients who are referrals who want to invest. I'm willing to do that. With them. I think just the investor game, and if you're going to participate that, you have to have a different strategy. And I'm not opposed to doing that, but I like working with people that I know. I think there's a general trend right now where investors are hitting up realtors constantly. I mean, I probably get 4 or 5 texts, emails, calls a day asking me who I know that wants to sell their home that doesn't want to go onto the market. And my response is all the time, I'm a realtor. My job as a realtor is to represent people in the sale of their home, and their best chance of getting the best dollar they can will be or the highest dollar amount will be to go to the market, to get that number.
Sure.
And it's not, I'm not are there situations where people go outside the market? I get it. There are, and they need a quick sale. There are those situations, but in my heart, I still believe that, if you put it out to the public, that you'll get more, you'll get more money.
Yep.
But, money might not be your highest goal.
Yeah.
We can still make it easy.
Mm-hmm.
We can put your home to the public market and still price it in a way where you get more money than from a wholesaler.
Yeah.
And still make it really easy,
Yep.
for you, where you're not dealing with anything.
Yeah.
We can do all that, and you have the representation of a realtor, to do that.
Yep.
So, I don't want to poo-poo investors. I don't want to do that. I don't want to do that. And I work with some investors, but as far as what's in the best interest of the client, I guess as a realtor, that's ingrained into me. That's important to me.
Sure.
And a wholesaler is trying to find a deal, connect you. They don't represent you. Right. Okay. They're just trying to do what you want.
Yep.
And that's what people, and if that's what people want, that's cool.
Yeah. There's a, I say wholesalers are great and because they do some dirty work that realtors don't want to go do. And they provide some liquidity in the market for investors where they can get a good deal, and rehab those properties and put them back on the market, on the MLS.
Oh, well, as far as the rehab part. Oh, I definitely we need inventory. We need housing. We need people to do that. It costs money. It's risk to do that. Yeah. I mean, 100%. That is what we need in investors. I'm talking about,
I agree.
I don't want to. I don't want to be negative. Hopefully, AI will get that out. But I'm just like, I think there's a place for investors. I think there's a place for realtors, and clients just need to know who they're dealing with because sometimes they don't.
Well, it boils down to kind of. This is probably a good segue to wrap everything up. Is it really just boils back to what you said originally? Is it? It's all about customizing and the goals and finding out what exactly you want. And somebody who's going to buy a property that they're going to live in is going to have a whole different set of goals than what an investor wants and trying to match up everything. And, depending on the client and who you're working with, it's all about finding out and exactly what they want, why they want it, how it's going to impact them, and then finding that right property for them. Yeah. And putting the best offer in them for them to win.
There you go.
Sweet.
That's it.
Easy enough.
There you go. Let's just do that right now.
It's like we scripted that and we were, we knew exactly what we were doing.
I feel like I'm a little better at this today. I don't know.
No, this was great.
No.
This was perfect. This was really good and appreciate you coming on and driving from Noblesville down to our office, and then we get to
it was a long way.
Each other all the way back to Noblesville.
I used to work just right up here on these buildings, where it says Superior Insurance Group.
Oh yeah,
I used to work in that building. It's like covered with graffiti right now, but
So speaking of this building actually, from what I understand, used to be a soap factory.
Oh, okay.
And then I think it got bought by a grocery store. And it was kind of their corporate headquarters, a local grocery store that I'm not familiar with.
Okay.
And then the current owners bought it, and it's been a co-working space.
Was it O'Malley's? Was it?
No.
Okay.
No, it
Smaller
was.
one than
yeah,
that?
it was. One that I had never heard of. So, but
that's cool. I love what they did this building. And
really
again,
neat.
Yeah, I'll leave it at that. That's cool.
Well, appreciate it.
Okay.
Awesome.
You're welcome.
Until next time.
Are we doing this again?
We'll do it again.
Okay. Nice. All right. See ya.